They have reiterated their commitment to the process in addressing 4 cardinal issues framed by Azimio, which include a reduction of the cost of unga, electricity and fuel, forensic audit of IEBC servers, bipartisan reconstruction of the IEBC, and respect for democracy and party discipline. They maintain that the organized barazis will not sabotage the expected bipartisan dialogue.
So these ones are not a continuation of the mass protests. These are consultations. That's why they are town halls and kamukunjis. They are not protests as we were doing before. So when we start engaging with our counterparts, we expect to make them understand that even for them, it is okay for them to keep engaging with their electorate and their followers and explain their position.
Azimio has also appointed Assisting Counsel Professor Makao Mutua and Jeremiah Kioni, as well as Advocate Paul Mwangi as a joint secretary in their team. Seraphi Nairobi for Lunchtime News.
Moving on, a grilling session where Siaya Deputy Governor William Odwol was to substantiate his recent remarks against the management of the local county government has been postponed. The Assembly ruled that the Deputy Governor had failed to furnish members with evidence.
The motion to summon the Deputy Governor was moved by Yimbo East Representative Francis Otiato, who sought leave of the House to have William Odwol shed light on his allegations about the mismanagement of the county.
Personally, I did make a request that as Assembly and as an oversight, we can present a perfect platform for us to hear the frustrations that the Deputy Governor is going through.
The ward representatives, however, refused to listen to the Deputy Governor, accusing him of failing to table his evidence.
There is nothing like insecure document. The role of this Assembly is to oversight. So meaning any wrongdoing which the DG has from the executive where he sits and is ready to take to this House, he must be able to defend that document, even if somebody else tries to make it correct.
The court is lenient and has given you 2 days. Friday, close of business, we present documents, we look at those documents, and for information's sake, we will analyze the documents, talk to the relevant people, or seek clarification from relevant people, then we will consider the next course of action.
The Deputy Governor has in the recent months been at loggerheads with his boss, Governor James Orengo, over alleged mismanagement. He has been accusing a syndicate in Orengo's office of targeting top officials from the Alego Usonga constituency for removal from office, interfering with the implementation of projects in the vast constituency. The Deputy Governor has also been claiming that he has been sidelined from the day-to-day activities in the county government and has been reduced to just reading newspapers and taking tea in the office while his security detail and chase car have been withdrawn. Jacqueline Masharia for Lunchtime News.
Elsewhere, Makueni County government has launched tourism circuit with plans afoot to make the region a favorable tourist destination while generating revenue for both the county and the country. Speaking during the occasion, Area Governor Mutula Kilonzo Jr. said that besides its natural resources, Makueni County is endowed with infrastructure such as the standard gauge railway, the upcoming Makindu airstrip, and the Mombasa-Nairobi highway that opens up the region to the local and international tourists. The county's executive member in charge of trade, Peter Mumo, said Makueni boasts of caves, Chulu Hills, Masamuche Hot Springs, and Makongo Viewpoint, among other wonders.
In Makueni, and we are also endowed with some of the unique mountains that offer some of the unique experiences of climbing, like the Nzawi Hill, just close by from Wote, bordered over 170 kilometers boundary with the major national parks, and these parks offer a safari experience that is not available anywhere else in this country, and by so saying, anywhere in the world.
All right, we now want to head on over to Radisson Blue in Upper Hill here in Nairobi, where we will be joined by our reporter Kamche Menza, who is covering the Parliamentary Committee meeting. Let's take a listen.
The voices, possibly we can come to the root cause of all these issues and we have a very, very clear picture. We have cases, we have leaders who have gone to functions and denounced results. I think the most important thing is that it is good to listen to those voices. When there is such a voice, it is good to go to that place and listen to that voice and get the information. Otherwise, my take would be all the tables, the Appendix 1, Appendix 2, the figures might not give us a very clear, we cannot give a conclusive answer to all this if we are just basing on just what is being provided as figures. That's my...
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Kisairo.
Thank you.
Kisairo first. Order Eve.
I thought we were going this way.
No, it's Kisairo.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Bwana CS, for the responses given. But as this committee sits here, I think we are trying to look on how to save the future generation of our children. It's not a case of pointing fingers. And one of the questions I wanted to ask has been asked by my good colleague Nabwera on entry behavior for any school that has an abnormal deviation. If we could have that, it could guide the committee on the report. Number two is in your responses, you did mention that some principals who have a good track record on performing when they go to another school, we do expect the same. My worry is that in these exams, school principals are also center managers. So they're actually the ones on top of the oversight of that exam in that center. This is a case of a teacher knowing he's competing, where he came from, they were performing well. Can this lead to this center manager compromising his own institution? And that's where the biggest worry is, because I'm competing with my neighbor and I'm in charge of this center. What stops me from, compromising myself? Lastly, there was an exam done, because we are not looking only at Form 4. We had KBC exams. If they were released, the results, I'm not sure if they were, but I assume they were released. If they were released, Bwana CS, would the ministry adopt the same way you released those exams to all other exams? The fanfare that you put into these exams release is part of the problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Waziri, and now respond.
Thank you.
Order Eve. We'll have another set of questions. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Some of the questions, particularly the CAF, my technical officer, the CEO and the PS will take us through that so that they are able to answer in a technical manner. But one area that I would like to touch on, Chairperson, is that the administration of the exams. There are various levels. We have invigilators, we have the center manager, we have supervisors, we have officers from the ministry and other departments also moving around. We have all these set of officers. Really, we are so open, Chairperson, in including the examiners. For anybody to come and say at the later stage that there is intimidation sign that he will not be able to report a crime, and then he comes at the later stage saying, now I'm here reporting, I think that requires to be investigated further. There are cases which, like 2021, and I think we did come with remedial measures because the number of cases which I found out that had been reported to the Directorate of Criminal Intelligence, some were not taken up, some the cases had been in court, but further prosecution is like it never took place properly, and we had several meetings actually at the very top level with my colleague in internal security, with the ICT, and we were able to come up with remedial measures concerning cases that we were able to get this particular year, and I think part of the answer will be in 2 and 3. I would say the curve will be explained by my 2 technical officers. Nakuru were principals. Now, if you were a failure, probably your mini score was below bar, what do you celebrate? So, if they also say there was no cause for celebration, it means they must be having reasons. The expectations probably from the teachers, from the students, from the parents was not a sign that they will be able to hold a celebration. Because, you know, when somebody comes up saying that, it's also better to investigate and say, yes, why is he able to investigate this? Why is he not able to do this? I'm quietly in some forum, national principals have a forum, a WhatsApp group, and sometimes I'm privy to the kind of information, the competition which goes on, some question, but when you look at the basis of the information, you know it is from that point of personal, why did that one perform better than me without any such basis. The only area, members of parliament, where we had a problem with the examiners during the marking was St. Francis, Mangu, the ones who were marking CRE paper 2, paper 1, and I realized there was a problem in that particular center. I personally went to St. Francis Mangu to dialogue and to engage with the examiners. Almost half of them agreed we did engage. They said the amount of money they were being paid is 50 per script or 55 per script. They wanted to be paid 70 as Kiswahili teachers, and we did discuss with those who agreed for us to dialogue and discuss, and we agreed that yes, you had signed a contract, and the contract clearly said 55. The amount of money which has been budgeted for, that we have been given, is this much, and going forward, we have heard your sentiments. We will be able to revise, and I think it is indicated.
All right, those are live pictures coming to us from the Radisson Blu Hotel, where Kamche Menza, our reporter, is covering that story, and she will be giving us an update or a comprehensive report a little bit later in the day in our subsequent bulletins. Now moving on, the county government of Kirinyaga has adopted a new road construction technology to enhance the durability of rural access roads across the county. The county executive committee member for transport, Jared Mwigwi, says the new technology will see the construction of a road network that is well drained and more resistant to extreme weather conditions.
Launched by Governor Anne Waiguru, the Nyorosha Barabara Mashinani project will see the roads constructed using a mixture of hardcore and quarry dust as the main building materials as opposed to the usual maram.
During the long rain season, most of the maram is carried away. So by use of quarry waste, we are definitely having some good cost savings, because that road can stay for 2 to 3 years before it is worked on again, or before there is need for us to go back and improve it again. So far, we've managed to do to grade 327 kilometers out of the 500.
The county administration says when complete the 500-kilometer road network will ease transportation of people and commodities in the region.
Tunakuza mishiri, mahali tunakuza hata ile tunakuza hata mahindi ambayo sasa tunajitayarisha sasa kwa hii mvua ndio iwe inafika sokoni huku kwetu Kagio na njia ile mzuri.
The well-drained and more resistant road network is expected to boost the economic status of the county.
Bereni hii barabara kitambo hazikuwa zinapitika na hata ulikuwa unapata customer unampeana ama anatembea miguu sababu huku utoboe huku wakati wa mvua. Sasa hii nimeona barabara imekuwa imenyoroshwa, iko sawa, hata nikipata customer wawili ama watatu na wawekelea kwa nduthi na wanapita nao wako vizuri sana.
For Lunchtime News, I'm Zainab Said.
A section of matatu owners in Meru County is accusing the county askaris of harassment during operations, calling on Governor Bishop Kawera Mwangaza to intervene. The matatu operators claim apart from unnecessary arrests, the officers have been imposing higher fines than necessary.
Gari yangu ilishikwa jana. Ikiwa dereva akiwa mimi nikiwa nimeenda kukula chakula, nikiwa nimepaki gari pahali mzuri, hata sio kwa barabara, na niko peke yangu na nimefunganisha gari. Kutoka kukula chakula, unakuta gari ya kanzo ndio imekufungia hapo na kanjo wote wako hapo.
Hizi fine zimewekwa, tunaambiwa hata ukishukisha mali yote. Unajua iko situation nyingine, unapata mtu hawezi mpeleka stage huko chini. Hakuna nafasi ya kuweka mtu. Hata ukishukisha hapo ama hata ukibeba mtu ambaye hawezi fika stage, unashikwa na kanso, mara moja unawekwa ndani, unapigwa fine hiyo 8,000 badala ile ya kawaida ilikuwa 3,000.
Tumeambiwa hiyo kikundi ya MOA imekaa chini na county government ikapandisha fines. Ukishikwa kama unabeba unapigwa fine 8,000 na hata ujitetei unaenda gari naachwa huko unaambiwa ukalipe fine.
Away from that, Rift Valley Institute of Science and Technology has been nominated for the Sustainable Development Goal Championing Mitigation on Climate Change Awards at the 6th edition of the World Federation of Colleges and Polytechnics 2023 TVET Excellence for All Awards. For the past 2 years, the institution has been running an ambitious program focusing on mitigating effects of climate change. According to the institution's principal, Dr. Sami Chemoyo, climate change has become a threat to food security over the world. Its effects include unpredictable rains, leading to decreased yields and increased production costs. The Congress, touted as the largest professional and technical education event in the world, will be attended by more than 700 delegates from 50 countries and 6 continents.
As an institution, we have been championing mitigation on climate change. And on top of that, we are working with the global community. We have, for example, we are working with the Climate Smart Agriculture Youth Network Global, which we are a member as an institution, and we are working with UN. And most of our staff, some of our staff and students have volunteered to participate, and they also do training and encouraging communities around.
And Labour and Social Protection Cabinet Secretary Florence Bore has urged technical institutions in the country to produce graduates with marketable skills to improve their chances of finding employment. Speaking at Cheptarit Vocational Training Center in Nandi County, Bore said the government will carry out sensitization programs to enable more students to enroll in technical courses.
The government aims to improve on skills development efforts and sector linkages for increased employability. This will be achieved by ensuring skills policy coherence across economic, employment, and social development arenas, building a government-wide approach that also engages key stakeholders and aligned by the principle of strengthening skills system effectiveness.
Moving on, 2 people, including 85-year-old woman, were injured in a land ownership tussle in Embakasi, Nairobi. The granny says that she had brought laborers to her farm to cultivate when they were attacked by 2 armed men who claimed ownership over the same parcel of land. The matter is being investigated by police.
According to the 85-year-old Margaret Wanjiru Mbugwa, they were attacked by a person they knew well.
Tuliona watu wawili wanakuja. Mmoja anakuja alikuwa na pisto. Akagoga mtoto wangu. Mtoto wangu akaumia. Ako hospital ruaye. Akichukua hiyo pisto, aweke hiyo mawe.
Wanjiru says for 20 years she has been battling with what she termed a determined land grabber who is taking advantage of her old age to grab her 8-acre piece of land.
Na hii saba ni yangu, nilinunua 1976 Mei. Majina tukapata na ile majina ikatoka 1980. Anatoka I am 85 good years. Alitoa wapi samba?
She says after winning a lengthy legal battle, she was given the title deed for the land, which she accused a former member of Nairobi County Assembly of trying to grab. The granny says she is fearing for her life and sought protection.
Haki yangu. Alikuja kusubua soso kama mimi. 85 good years. Ni nani huyu? Na kabuni ilipatia ilirudisha saba yangu.
Tilio Marco for Lunchtime News.
And tension remains high in Baringo after 1 person was shot dead by bandits and 3 others injured in 2 separate attacks in Mukutano Ward, Baringo South. The deceased is said to have been herding his livestock with his brother when armed bandits ambushed them. Here are the details in the County News Roundup.
Locals in Baringo South continue living in fear despite the ongoing security operation in the area. Bandits struck in Nusidan village, Nusikuro location, killing 1 person and injuring 3 others.
Hatuna wakati ya kupoteza kila wakati kusika watu. Hata sisi tunajipanga. Kwa hivyo serikali kabla sisi hatujajipanga, hebu mpange mtupe NPR kabla sisi hatujajipanga.
In Kiambu County, the government there will construct playing grounds in all its 12 sub-counties in a bid to help nurture road sport talents in children under the age of 17.
Huku nje watoto wanapotelea kwa drugs, wizi, tabia mingi ziko huku nje. So naweza omba government iendelee kutuweka pamoja na kutufungulia njia so that huyo mtoto avoid kuvuta bangi, kunywa pombe na pia kujidunga madawa.
Elsewhere, Kakamega County has moved to rehabilitate the region's road network to ease the transportation of people and commodities in the county. And residents in Shakahola village in Chakama location, Magarini sub-county of Kilifi County, have expressed concern about the persistent invasion of their farms by marauding elephants straying from the Tsavo National Park.
Serikali itafute njia ile ambayo itaweza hawa wanyama watondo, kama ni kujengewa wajengewe kando na wananchi tubaki kando.
Finally, the Kenya Ports Authority has donated food worth 3 million shillings to Muslim faithful drawn from Mombasa, Lamu and Kwale counties. Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims Deputy Chairperson Mutar Kitami used the opportunity to urge Kenyans to live in harmony.
Serikali kwa dhati zetu, Mwenyezi Mungu aiondoshe hii shida iliyoko. Mwenyezi Mungu awape fahamu wale ambao kwamba waona kwamba kufanya fujo na kuingia barabarani ndio kuondoa shida.
We are taking a short break here on Lunchtime News, but don't go too far. We'll be back in just a while.
Indeed very pleased
to host you all to this farewell luncheon. Let me at the very outset express my sincere gratitude to you all for the support you have given me and the government over the last 10 years. Through the effective discharge of your various responsibilities, you have greatly contributed to the delivery of the presidential mandate to the Kenyan people.
Kupata sikiza tune hii ya Kibeti, bonyeza *811*962#.
Haki umefanya vizuri sana kunipigia hii simu sasa. Nimekuwa na stress kutoka asubuhi kabisa. Na ni huyu mtu ambaye alikuwa anapatiana majina ya vitu. Kwani hakutufikiria sisi watu wa Eastern Ukambani? Ni nani alisema ati wife kwa Kiswahili ni mke? Na akasema ati handbaka. Hii inabebwa na mwanamke handbaka. Ati kwa Kiswahili ni kibeti. Huku kwetu mke ndiye kibeti.
Ili kupata sikiza tune hiyo ya Kibeti, bonyeza *811*962#. *811*962#.
Kwa miaka karibu 6 sijawahi kufanya mkutano wa Injili maeneo ya Pwani, haswa Mombasa. Mkutano huu utakuwa mkutano mkubwa zaidi mahali panaitwa VOK karibu na Bombolulu. Friday, Saturday and Sunday.
Mwingine ndio yule ameponea kule. Wako wengi.
Nimepona.
Umetoka wapi?
Yes. Umetoka
Shega. Shida ilikuwa ni mfupa. Arthritis. Pressure. Ulcers.
Wakatano. Nimemeza dawa aina yoyote.
Leo unatembea.
Nimepona.
Mtampe Yesu makofi mazuri.
Mungu akuponye jinsi ambavyo amewaponya hao.
The number is growing without preaching. Wherever Jesus is, miracles and wonders will never cease.
So then, you thought if you did that to them, then they could leave without feeling guilty, correct?
Oh wait, I won't need my room next month.
Excuse me, is this the address here?
Yes, this is the hotel's address. 8646 is our presidential suite.
Then, is there a man named Liam Lynn staying here?
You scared me. I thought you were moving to France.
I'm not.
Promise me if you go to France someday, you have to take me with you.
We are officially conducting an inquest into the undercover operation dubbed Hidden Leaf. Tukisuspect wewe ama Sergeant Omwami cause failure to this mission, there will be repercussions.
Tumepata changamoto kwa mipango yetu, lakini jitku ukusojira.
Kurumu imane.
Mardo na kuhakikisha.
Mardo maakawada.
Hii mission ni classified. Hakuna mtu atajua. Only mimi na DIG.
If they need him alive, then we need him dead.
Jamaa, wamekuwa nani ndo waze kutupatia hizo order?
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with Lunchtime News. Now, a 68-year-old woman, Kenyan widow of South African origin, stares at eviction after losing a multi-million shilling beach property in Malindi, Kilifi County after decades of court battles. Gail Answorth says she has been living on the land for 15 years now. She claims her late husband, John Fraser Answorth, purchased the 8.4-acre parcel in 2007 after they retired. The couple built 6 houses on the property located at the controversial Chembe Kibamche settlement scheme, which has been a center of dispute for years, with cases of double allocations.
Anything to do with the property, we showed him all our paperwork. He took our original title deed, and eventually the matter was in the appeal court Mombasa. In February 2019, I went to the Kilifi Lands Department, and Mr. Atman had rejected my application to transfer the land onto my name, and I from the Kilifi Lands Department I went straight to Malindi Court.
And in business, the government is reorganizing the MSME and cooperative state departments into industry value chains to best address the needs of small businesses. MSME and Cooperative Development Cabinet Secretary Simon Chelugui says a multi-sector approach will be adopted to address procurement challenges faced by 24 value chains and create long-term linkages.
Informal and small businesses make up more than 80% of businesses in Kenya, providing an output of over 3 trillion shillings to the economy. To support the informal businesses, the government is conducting value chain analysis to identify opportunities for micro, small and medium enterprises.
MSME's capacity building, enhanced market intelligence, digitalization, customer-centric business models, enabling environment and strategic partnership as crucial elements for powering MSME participation in the manufacturing sector.
Interconnected, they don't stay in silos. Even for an SME to grow, they need to be globally competitive. They need to look at driving exports. To do that, we need to create market access for these SMEs. We need to go out there and look where they can be able to develop markets beyond the domestic markets.
The main goal is to increase the number of value-added products being exported. Furthermore, he says concentrating on singular sectors will lead to assured outcomes. The identified sectors are textile, apparel and agro-processing industries, which have massive untapped potential.
Enhancing MSME participation in manufacturing agenda requires comprehensive approach that addresses both supply side and the demand side. All the constraints involved on both sides. It is imperative that we consider access to affordable finance.
Currently, we are negotiating with the EU. We had a whole Kenya-EU business forum, 400 investors. We just had the Americans here, about 1,000 of them, and we have negotiating the Kenya-UK agreements. All these things, we are opening space for you so that you can grow, so that you can sell your products beyond the borders, and I want to assure you that as government we will do all we can.
On financial inclusion, the Cabinet Secretary says Kenyans have shown a great affinity for borrowing for their businesses, with the Hustler Fund recording 7 million Kenyans borrowing on a daily basis.
Taking out 17 shillings per day from this hustler and putting it in their health insurance, National Hospital Insurance Fund. And this amount will assure them of medical and accident expenses. At least when a hustler is hurt or through an accident or by sickness, he can walk to any hospital and they are treated and they are released.
The government plans to introduce further deductions of 17 shillings a month to be directed to NHIF. He says these adjustments will ensure that small businesses have a chance of appealing to foreign investors and expanding their market. Hibak Said for Lunchtime News.
Away from that, a woman revolving fund has been unveiled targeting small-scale women entrepreneurs who will be trained, mentored and funded to grow their businesses. Here is Frederick Moki with the details.
A number of small and medium enterprises register below average growth due to financial challenges owing to challenges in accessing affordable credit. To counter this, the SOMO initiative will offer training and funding for small-scale women entrepreneurs to grow their businesses.
And it's this kind of impact that we are looking for with a program like this, where women are able to be equipped to run their own businesses, yes, but also to be able to impact others in the community. And it's that triple effect that we see that is going to bring a change in the socio-economic focus areas.
The program will support low-income entrepreneurs from marginalized communities and finance their businesses.
This is really important because we want to make a difference. And as Standard Chartered, we're committing, and I spoke about the lifting participation pillar, which is really key for us. And the idea is to ensure that we empower and create jobs and create depth in the economy.
Alongside the fund, entrepreneurs will receive a year of business support. At the same time, training on the use of digital reporting tools will be offered to beneficiaries. Frederick Mwoki for Lunchtime News.
Dairy factories are expected to optimize production of butter during this long rain season to alleviate the current shortage. Livestock Principal Secretary Harry Kimtai says the new KCC is seeking funds from the National Treasury for mopping up excess milk from farmers during the current long rain season and purchase coolers.
What I've just said is because we have been in a very prolonged drought, and we must have enough milk to produce other different products of milk, butter being one of them. So I think the process gave preference to supply of milk to the customers. Butter, of course, we'll have to spend more. We'll have to take more milk to produce butter. So we have kind of made sure that we have enough supply of milk first, so that the other products definitely, with so much of this rain that we are now having, the butter supply will definitely resume because there will be more milk to process butter as well. So we expect the supply of milk to increase in the near future because of the good rains, and with the good supply of milk, then the consumers are going to have better prices because there will be plenty and availability of milk in the shelves.
Moving on, the volume of imported goods from countries such as China and the United Arab Emirates is likely to reduce following a new directive by the Kenya Revenue Authority to have importers of consolidated cargo pay duty based on transaction value. This in addition to a requirement by the Anti-Counterfeit Agency to submit pre-import applications for processing and approval before importation of goods as from next month.
People are not ready to import because they don't know what is going to be seized by ACA and what is not going to be seized. Like the experience we had in 2018 was so bad for most traders that the moment this notice was released, nobody is willing to import. So that again has already affected our imports for this month. And again, that has consequences on the the amount of money paid as duty to KRA. So we are urging the government to stop introducing these haphazard or ad hoc kind of notices. AC has issued a notice which is to be effective on 1st May. 1st May, already some goods on the high seas coming. They might land at this place that 1st May or after 1st May. So what is going to happen? So I can tell you, I've just come from the market, and traders in Nyamakema are up in arms, because it is not fair. Again, along the same line, the government has increased duty that is payable to the consolidated goods. Again, people are not able to purchase because they don't know how much they will be able to gain from the business.
The Kenya Bureau of Standards has been awarded the prestigious ISO 2012 accreditation by the Kenya Accreditation Service for maintaining high standards and inspection of goods and services traded in the country. According to Kenya Accreditation Service Chief Executive Officer Martin Chesire, the accreditation enhances the standard body's credibility and reputation, as well as enhance its ability to guarantee the quality and authenticity of its services.
This accreditation now empowers KEBS much more to be able to undertake destination inspection.
This also brings the role of KEBS in trade facilitation. KEBS plays a role both in the domestic market in terms of the inspection they do for the manufacturing sector. They also do the inspection for purposes of assuring the products coming to the country. This accreditation then anchors them with confidence on the validity of the processes that they use for inspection.
Old Mutual General Insurance saw its net profit more than double from 290 million shillings to 804.41 million shillings. The profit was powered by improved underwriting profit, which bounced back from a loss of 146 million shillings to 204 million shillings. Here are the details of this and other stories in our corporate briefs.
Total income increased from 11.34 billion shillings to 13.88 billion shillings, while the net written premiums was at 12.75 billion shillings. Old Mutual General Insurance Managing Director Japheth Ogalo says this was driven largely by a return to normalcy post-COVID-19. Ogalo says the growth in profits also driven by strict adherence to the firm's plan and disciplined execution of the laid-down strategy, management of expenses, and strategic partnerships.
Then, of course, engagement with our intermediaries in terms of growth, the revenue growth and top line. Those combined together then led us to the performance that we had in 2022. Just change the law.
Meanwhile, I&M Foundation has assigned a 6.25 million shillings grant to enable over 24 students living in informal settlements in Nairobi to learn software development. The grant is in partnership with Moringa School to support the Access program that seeks to build a pipeline of young technology talent, a third of which is dedicated to female students. During the 24-week bootcamp, students will be trained on employable skills as well as join a graduate support team to help them find employment opportunities.
And as we start these programs, I'm sure it will be very fulfilling and rewarding to see that we are creating talent in Kenya, and perhaps it will also create investments into the country where today the challenges we are also facing is a lot of the technical solutions are imported, which has again significant costs, which also becomes a deterrent.
We're really honored and privileged today to get the support from the I&M Foundation to start with funding 25 students, where we hope we can really take those students from deprived backgrounds, ideally with the right gender balance, but then not only provide the training, but give them the right internship and eventually the job opportunities with a financial institution like like I&M banks.
Finally, Shelter Freak is targeting the African diaspora to enhance affordable housing delivery across the continent. Shelter Freak Managing Director Thienol Habib says over 170 million people of African descent that live all over the world present a formidable resource pool for the continent's infrastructure development, including housing. Africa is considered the continent with one of the most rapidly growing urban population, with over 60% of the urban population in sub-Saharan Africa estimated to live in areas categorized as slums and informal settlements. Currently, Africa has a housing deficit which accounts for at least 56 million.
All right, let's take a look at the day's sports, where African record holder Ferdinand Omanyala clocked 10.12 seconds to win the 100-meter final at the Athletic South African Grand Prix 1 in Pretoria, South Africa last night. Compatriot Samuel Imeta finished fourth, while South Africa's Benjamin Richardson and Rivaldo Roberts came in second and third, respectively.
The two in the middle lanes, but it's Omanyala. He's going to crush this one. A superb run, 9.98. What a run! Omanyala has smashed it here in Germiston. A sensation. Ferdinand Omanyala has brought his A game. The beast has really set the Easter light.
Well, come of the hour and come of the man. Speed, size, and a 9.18 unofficial. Look at just the delight in his face. That is Ferdinand Omanyala.
And Chelsea has it all to do if they are to advance to the Champions League semi-finals after they lost 2-0 to holders Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. Meanwhile, Ismail Banaka's first half goal gave AC Milan a slender advantage over Napoli in the first leg of the All-Italian Champions League quarter-final at San Siro Stadium.
Club competition. Chelsea
produced a battling performance, but Marcos Asensio's second goal in the 74th minute assured Real Madrid the 2-0 win. Away to Italy, AC Milan took a big step towards their first Champions League semi-final.
And with that, we come to an end here at Lunchtime News, but more news at 7 and at 9 p.m. in our subsequent bulletins, and also on our website at www.kbc.co.ke. I am Nissie Imano. Brian Muraru has been our sign language interpreter. Good afternoon.